The one I thought had no copyright claim may have had one. The Danielle Steele one is partially blocked in some countries. So, okay. Good night, kind of. Good nap.
Mutual UFO Network started the long-standing tradition of professional research and investigations into reports of unknown aerial phenomena. Over the last 46 years, MUFON has made great strides in gathering evidence and data using the most up-to-date methods and equipment in the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. In keeping with MUFON's missions and goals to educate the public on the UFO phenomenon, the MUFON UFO radio show was developed to deliver data and real UFO investigations to the public directly from the MUFON case archives. On this program, you will hear from the witnesses who file the reports and those who investigate them, as well as experts in the field. This is the MUFON UFO Traffic Report.
Hi, I'm Nancy D'Souza with Stan Seba, your host for the official MUFON UFO radio show and traffic report. Also here with us tonight is MUFON's communication director, Roger Marsh. You are listening live to KGRA Digital Broadcasting, KGRAradio.com. Hi Stan, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you, Nancy?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Stan and I have been looking forward to this evening all week long. We want to say hello to all of you across the United States and around the world.
Ditto on my side also on that. Just so you know, we will be your hosts for the show throughout 2017. We are very happy to be here, and we're very nervous, just so you know. We're going to talk about some of the things that we're going to try and do with the show. We're also going to have the UFO traffic report from Roger Marsh, or the MUFON UFO traffic report, I should say.
We also want to say a shout out to Jan Parzan, Steve Hudgens, Roger Marsh, Chase Klosky, Race Hobbs, and the production company, the Global Radio Alliance. Thank you all for your tremendous help and support.
Thank you all.
Also, Ben and I and all the listeners out there want to say, we love you, Race. Race is now the operation manager for KGRA. We congratulate him. We want to wish him good luck and much success in his new role. We also want to thank you, Race, for everything that you have done to promote KGRA to the top of alternative talk radio in the UFO and paranormal genres.
Again, as Nancy said, Race, we thank you very much, sir.
Thank you both so much. I couldn't be happier to have the two of you taking over the helm of the MUFON UFO radio show. You two are going to do a great job. I have every confidence that you two possess all the tools needed to bring these awesome cases that come into MUFON every week to the public, and you have all the support of Roger Marsh, myself, Chase Kletsky, and the rest of the communications team. And we have high hopes for MUFON Radio here in 2017. You have the best listeners in the world out there, and I'm sure they're all going to love you. So let's get it going. I'm ready for a wonderful new season of MUFON Radio here, and I just have all the confidence in the world in you two. Just love you both today.
Thank you very much, Race. We love the kind words. Of course, we like hearing good things, and we're going to try and bring good things to all the listeners and to everybody who listens in on KGRA Radio. Specifically, just so people do know, we've got confirmed guests for the next month. We're working into March and April of this year.
You're charging that hard. Tom says he's related to Kathy Leon. Tom says he's related to Kathy Leon. Tom says he's related to Kathy Leon. Please help me with my cough and my breathing gun. Tom says he's related to Kathy Leon. Sorry, I shouldn't have switched it. I downloaded KGRA Digital Broadcasting, $6.99 a month, to listen to MUFON podcasts every Thursday. I think it's from 6 to 8 p.m. And they've got all kinds of UFO things on there. Right now I'm listening to a podcast of MUFON from 2017, but they have been punishing me severely for listening, so I've paused. But please help me. I have asked that all asks and requests for Satanists be reaffirmed many times. I've asked for them to become infants. I've asked for you to render them powerless and harmless. And I ask you again to please do those things. And please protect my heart, my breathing, my cough. Please protect me, God. Give me a zone of protection, please. A 6-foot zone of protection. I appreciate it. Thank you, God. I've also asked you to give them blood pressure 6,000 over 4,000 for all Satanists. Affirm and affirm. Thank you, God. I couldn't sleep.
1969, the Mutual UFO Network started the long-standing tradition of professional research and
house. Quote, hovering above his house was a UFO. It was sitting still and it was...
In the spring of 1969, the Mutual UFO Network started the long-standing tradition of professional research and investigations into reports of unknown aerial phenomena. Over the last 46 years, MUFON has made great strides in gathering evidence and data using the most up-to-date methods and equipment in the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. In keeping with MUFON's missions and goals to educate the public on the UFO phenomenon, the MUFON UFO radio show was developed to deliver data and real UFO investigations to the public directly from the MUFON case archives. On this program, you will hear from the witnesses who file the reports and those who investigate them, as well as experts in the field. This is the MUFON UFO Traffic Report.
Hi, I'm Nancy D'Souza with Stan Siva, your host, investigator for...
but were man-made. The quotes in this story and the others here tonight are all edited for clarity. Next up, a Georgia witness at Cummings reported watching a low-flying military helicopter apparently chase a worm home late at night. This according to Test Team.
If I'm working on it, if I'm able to sit and talk with the witness for any period of time, I've met a lot of great people. I've learned so much. When I first started with MUFON, I'll be honest, I had a very narrow view of ufology. But in my work with MUFON, that view has broadened. My horizons have broadened. To kind of sum up the past 7 years or so, here I am now, talking with Nancy and everyone else listening to KGRA.
I have only been involved with MUFON for the past 3 years. I have had the privilege of being trained by two experts in the field, Stan, the estate director, and the former assistant state director, Larry Jordan. And I feel that, you know, this training has been invaluable, and I just look forward to the show and all the learning and education that I have gotten, and I want to put all this to use and talk to you about MUFON and our case reports.
I agree 100%. To be quite honest, the ufology is really our passion. And that's the one thing that we really love about working with MUFON. And, you know, we can talk more about that, but right now we do have to switch to Roger Marsh across our studio, and he's going to bring us another fantastic MUFON traffic report.
Welcome to the UFO Traffic Report for Tuesday, February 7, 2017. First up, a Kentucky witness at Cox's Creek recalled a UFO incident from 2014 where a disc-shaped object was observed hovering over a neighbor's home. Shortly after it appeared, someone had entered his home late at night. This according to testimony in case 80839. The reporting witness and his wife had just gone to bed about 10 p.m. June 4, 2014 when the incident began. Quote, she was reading a book and I was watching television, the witness stated. The house was quiet. We live in a country type of area. The television was down low as not to disturb my wife. I heard our front door open. It makes a distinctive sound as the lower seal rubs the step plate. It had my attention, but I thought it was our son who has the only other key to our house. The witness then heard walking in the living room, but it sounded like more than one person. Quote, my wife looked at me and said, you know, someone just came in the house, don't you? So I answered, yes, I know. It has to be our son. He's the only one with a key. And she says, what if it's not? She was right. So I got out of bed, I go to the closet, I get my gun. We leave a small light on in the kitchen just to be able to see if someone is there, but they can't see us well. The witness then moved through the house, believing that it was his son making the sounds. Quote, I called out his name and say that I have a gun and not to be joking around, but no answer. So I start going through each room, turning on the lights as I go. I looked in every room. I even looked under the beds and in closets because I know I heard someone enter our home. I found nothing. The front door was double locked, no windows open or unlocked. The witness then returned to his bedroom to tell his wife that nothing was found. Quote, she said, I heard someone. Are you sure? I said, I heard someone too, but the door is locked. The house is safe. I told my wife that while I was up, I was going to go outside and smoke before going back to bed. The witness then took his gun and went out on the front porch. Quote, I usually sit on the steps and smoke, but I wanted to look around the house in case someone was outside our home. Our garage is about 30 feet from our house with a sidewalk joining them, so I slowly walked toward the garage. The witness made it halfway to the garage when he noticed lights at his neighbor's house. Quote, hovering above his house was a UFO. It was sitting still and it was glowing different colors. It was made of metal, but the lights were the most vivid, beautiful colors I have seen. Glowing green, then red, then blue. I know my wife is terrified of these things because we see them quite often, and she remarks, I don't want to see them. I'm the opposite. I want to put my hands on one and look it over. I want to talk to them, and I know what they know. I just hope they are friendly and don't dissect me. I see lots of UFOs, and it's worthless to tell someone without proof. They pat you on the head and say they believe you. So I walked to the door and said, hey honey, can you come out here for a minute? She said yes, so I walked back out on the sidewalk and waited. I remember thinking, I hope she gets here quick because these things don't stay still for long. His wife came outside and asked what he wanted. Quote, I said, look at Lois's house. She saw it. She knows what it was too. She grabbed my arm and said, let's get back in the house. I said, don't be afraid. It's over his house, not ours. And it's not doing anything but hovering. She was still scared, so we went to the edge of the garage and just watched. We had a real nice 12 megapixel camera, excuse me, but it would quit working 3 days earlier. It was killing me to see it this close and not be able to film it. The two watched the object for about 15 minutes until it started moving. Quote, it went above the trees and slowly went out of sight. About a week later, I saw my neighbor and told him what we saw. He said, I know what night you mean. I was in bed asleep, but I'm a light sleeper. I heard someone come in my house, so I reached under my pillow and got my .44 pistol out. I just stayed in bed and pointed the gun towards the door. I could hear someone going through my silverware drawer, opening cabinet doors and walking around. I just listened. After a few minutes, it got quiet. I got up, announced that I had a gun, and started through the house. I found nothing or no one. My door was still locked. So at least I know what I heard coming in the house, but I never saw them leave. Excuse me. Cox's Creek is an unincorporated community along U.S. routes 31 East and 150, known locally as Louisville Road in Nelson County, Kentucky. Kentucky MUFON State Director Roberta Smith investigated and closed this case as an unknown. Please remember that most UFO sightings can be explained as something natural or man-made. The quotes in this story and the others here tonight are all edited for clarity. Next up, a Georgia witness at Cummings reported watching a low-flying military helicopter apparently chasing a tubular-shaped glowing white object, according to testimony in case 81841. The witness was outside on a back patio sitting in a hot tub at 7:22 p.m. December 2, 2016, when the incident occurred. Quote, I was facing south towards the back of my house, the witness stated. I heard the faint chop, chop, chop of a helicopter, and just a few seconds after I heard that first chop, I saw a red light. I assumed it was a running light from the helicopter in the sky emerging, heading southwest. The witness stated that this is a fairly common occurrence, as news and traffic copters are common in this area. The chopper proceeded south for approximately 30 seconds. I didn't give it another thought and went back to enjoying the tub. Within another 30 seconds, I started hearing the chopper again, but this time, even over the noise of the 6 HP tub jets, it was getting considerably louder. I leaned up and looked towards the south, and the red lights were coming back towards my way on a north-northeast heading and moving fast, very fast. The sound reached levels that the witness had never heard before. Quote, "At this point, the rotor chop was getting so incredibly loud, I reached over and turned the tub jets off because I couldn't believe what I was hearing and now feeling in my chest. The chop was so powerful, I then realized this to be a military chopper. I couldn't see the chopper itself yet, but I could see its red running light, the only light visible as it approached. A few seconds later, the chopper passed right in front of the witness, just above the treetop height. Quote, when it passed by, the chopper was completely black, as in there were no lights emanating from the cabin, just the red running light. This is where it gets interesting. Just in front of the chopper, about 50 to 70 feet, was a tubular-shaped, glowing white object silently screaming by. I know it made no discernible noise, simply because the chopper thump-thump-thump is intermittent. If this was a jet or missile going that fast, I feel very confident it would have made a loud jet engine or rocket sound. It was silent. The witness felt compelled to report the sighting to MUFON. Quote, it was an extremely fast and powerful military-style chopper. It was flying way below legal altitude, just above the treetops. It was obvious to me that the chopper was chasing something due to its very fast and erratic flight path. Right as it passed in front of my line of sight, I saw what it was chasing as described above. After discussing different possibilities with the witness, it seems unlikely the light seen on December 2 could have been aircraft. This coming from Georgia field investigator Sandra Johnston and State Director Ralph Howard, who had closed the case out as an unknown. Johnston and Howard stated in their report, we also discussed drones, but concluded the object was moving too fast and the shape was not drone-like in appearance. We have a North Carolina witness at Elizabeth City who reported watching a triangle UFO hover under 500 feet over his vehicle, according to testimony in case 81565. The reporting witness was a passenger in his mother's vehicle, January 11, 2017, as they were driving into town for a birthday dinner. Quote, on our way to town, I happened to notice what I thought at first was maybe a helicopter or aircraft, the witness stated, but it had an unusually bright white lights with what appeared to be red-green flashing lights, kind of like a normal aircraft might have. Didn't think too much of it at the time, but kind of kept looking towards it as it moved slowly. As their vehicle moved along, the witness kept watch of the unusual object. Quote, it arrived at the edge of town just about the time we did and was hovering low over the trees and houses. About the time we turned to head towards town, its flight path was heading right for us, so I was like, okay, I'll see what it was for sure now, because it's going to be right over our heads. The witness continued to watch the object, quote, so I look out the window as it slowly hovered overhead and was dumbfounded by what I saw. It was a triangular-shaped craft, unlike anything I have ever seen before. 3 bright white lights at the corners of the craft, red lights toward the center, and orange lighting in various places. It seemed to have orange-lit engine-like vents towards the back end of the craft. It seemed to be dark gray in color, but the whole thing had this translucent, bluish aura about it. The witness described his encounter as brief but life-changing. Quote, I've never seen anything with this level of tech. You could just feel how powerful this thing was. I'm a bit of a sci-fi fan and have kind of somewhat believe in the possibility of stuff like this existing. The crazy part is, the thing was still in the area on our way home an hour or so later, though it didn't come close to us again. But seriously, it just made everything I've ever seen, including fantasy, just pale in comparison. I'm actually kind of scared to drive or even go out at nights and seeing it. It's really kind of shaking me up. My mother was driving, so she never got a close look at it like I did, unfortunately, and no pictures either. I honestly was so amazed and shocked I didn't even think to try. Elizabeth City is a city in Pasquotank County, North Carolina, population 18,047. North Carolina MUFON field investigator Sandra Davis investigated this case and closed it as an unknown. Please remember that, again, most UFO sightings can be explained as something natural or man-made. Finally, tonight, we're going to go with one more report out of Texas. And we have a Texas witness at Lake Jackson reported a loud rumbling sound like thunder that shook the house and was followed by an unusual whining sound, according to testimony in case 80863. The witness recounted what happened about midnight, December 6, 2016. Quote, "We have a mystery locally," the witness stated. About 12 midnight, people felt or heard a boom and shaking. Some people reported that it was followed by a high-pitched whine. The area that seems to have gotten the worst effects was Lake Jackson, about 12 miles from us. Some people as far away as Alvin, about 35 miles away northeast, and Brazos Bend State Park, about 30 miles north, said they experienced it. The witness has been hearing from more and more people in the same area. And we are looking further into this case. This person also contacted, the Alvin PD Department, the Ellington Field, Harris County Sheriff's Office, the Houston Police Department, also the Brazos Bend State Park in the area, and also the local Clute newspaper called The Facts. And I believe our SAT group at MUFON will also be looking into that case. You can read the complete news coverage on these stories and much more at our website, MUFON.com. Use the news link at the top of the homepage and choose UFO News. This is Roger Marsh. Please stop back next week for more news from the UFO Traffic Report.
We want to thank Roger for another great traffic report. It's always interesting and fascinating to hear what he has to tell us. Right now, we're ready to take a quick station break. We will continue our discussion right after these important messages. This is the official MUFON UFO radio program coming to you from our home base, the Global Radio Alliance, always streaming 24/7. The topics and breaking news from the people you trust right here on KGRAradio.com.
hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wade Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wade Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, Am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Tim O'Neill talking about Balance of Nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
I'm a big supporter of the product. 2 winters ago, I had, between November and March, I had 5 head colds, and each time it was like a 2-week ordeal. Last winter, with your product, I didn't have a single one.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Whether it's a natural disaster or one single child suffering from illness, the American Red Cross stands ready to supply blood when it's most needed. But blood is a perishable product. Therefore, it must continuously be replenished. You can safely donate blood every 56 days. The need is constant and patients are waiting. Call your American Red Cross at 1-800-GIVE-LIFE to schedule your life-saving appointment. Please give blood today. Patients are depending on you.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk.
No way you could keep a secret as big as covering up a UFO. Is this how evidence is suppressed?
Always has been. Always will be. KGRA, the planet.
Welcome back. I'm Stan Siva, your co-host with the official MUFON UFO radio show here on KGRA. My co-host is Nancy D'Souza, and we're going to be talking at the second half of our show, starting at about 7 p.m. Well, that's Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Mark. He is a witness from Kansas. He was a guest on a short segment of the November 15th official MUFON radio show in the archives if you want to check that out. He will be discussing more details about what he discussed on November the 15th. This is MUFON CMS Report 80558. Again, CMS Report 80558. If you have the ability to get on the CMS, please do check it out. As I said, we're going to go into more details. Right now, I'm here with Nancy in our studio, and in order to give you some insight as to how Nancy and I got interested in UFOs, I'm going to turn things over to Nancy. She's going to tell you about where she developed her interest in UFOs and how she and I came to meet. Nancy, go ahead.
Hi, Stan. I'll tell you guys a little story. You know, I've had a lifelong curiosity about UFOs. I've always thought that there was life out there in the universe, and possibly, visitors on our own planet. But, I can remember as a kid watching TV, a little TV with my dad and my brother, and we watched shows like The Twilight Zone and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, The Outer Limits, and Lost in Space. They were the best shows on TV. And when I think back on it, I think, my dad really enjoyed watching them all as much as I did. These shows, these shows were just the beginning of a life of curiosity and investigation. I can also remember, you know, as a kid listening to UFO and paranormal related radio shows. I remember one day my dad brought home a little crystal radio for my brother and I, and he hooked them up to our box springs of our bed. And I remember listening to them every night. My brother and I giggled and we got scared, and it was just the greatest memories. And you know what? I can't remember exactly what happened to those radios. As I think about it, I think, you know, maybe my mother thought the content was a little too much for an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, but somehow those radios disappeared. Right now, and I have lived in the greater Kansas City area for about 35 years. I came to Kansas City to work. I was a graphic designer, and I worked until 2010. Since then, my interest in MUFON and ufology has snowballed. I met Stan because he was my field investigator. My family and I had a sighting in June of 2012, and we were on a small lake in Kansas. When you're sitting on the lake, I'll just describe it to you. When you're sitting on the lake, you have the impression there are mountains around because the hills are so high. But actually, Kansas is relatively flat, but it's kind of cool because it's, you know, you see the mountains, and it just gives the little lake so much atmosphere. Anyhow, we were sitting there. It was in the evening. It was about 10 o'clock, and there were 5 of us on a boat. It was pitch black, and we were looking in the southerly direction. And up above one of these hills, we saw this orange glowing ball come up over the hill. And we were all, what is that? What's going on? And pretty soon there were 2 other orange glowing balls underneath it in the shape of a perfect shape of a triangle. And eventually these triangular shapes rose up, and there were 3 of them. And I mean, during the whole time we were talking and we were saying, oh my gosh, what is it? You know, what are we looking at? It was just small talk, but you know, I replay every minute of it. And then when the 3 triangular shaped light formations rose up above the tree line, they started moving around and they started pivoting, and they were going on and off, and within just a couple seconds, a line of 4 lights formed in a straight line, straight horizontal line, and we were all watching it. And out of nowhere, the 5th light popped on, and then the whole straight line formation pivoted counterclockwise and went down below the hillside. And my sister-in-law said, oh my gosh, we have to see what happened to that. So she started up the boat, and we took the boat and went behind the cove and were looking for whatever that was that we saw. We never saw anything, and I mean, we couldn't stop talking about it. It was such an unusual thing to observe. That probably one of the more interesting parts of the case is later on. I was looking on the CMS report and the case management report, and there was another case, maybe 20 miles, 10 miles from the lake location. A mother and her 2 children were standing and sitting on their back porch. They were looking over the hillside, and they saw a straight line formation of 5 lights coming at them.
Nancy, I just want to kind of interject this real quick. Just to let you know, it was a mother, her children, and their neighbor. Their neighbor was a retired airline pilot. They were at a position where they were at an elevation where they were looking down towards these same lights. And when they were looking down at these lights, the airline pilot also filed a report with MUFON in another state. And this is an interesting report that Nancy put in because we have 2 witnesses. Well, actually, we had a total of, I think it was roughly 12 to 15 witnesses altogether. But they were 2 groups of people in 2 separate locations looking at the same event. That's what was so amazing about it, at least least from my point of view. But please continue, Nancy.
Well, the mother, airline pilot, retired airline pilot, said that the lights came at them, but before the lights, came within 500 feet of them, it made a right angle turn and turned south, and they watched these.
I'm gonna stop. I'll put this on my headphones because it's a paid subscription, and I don't want to. I don't want to exploit that. But anyway, it's KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I found it from the MUFON site, MUFON.com.
Lights in a straight line. Power on.
The subscription is $6.99 a month, $75 a year for all these podcasts on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting, or KGRAradio.com. I got it through the Digital Broadcasting. This is the MUFONs from 2017. And they're going to start up this Thursday night, 6 to 8 p.m. at KGRA. So I'll upload this. I'll probably get a copyright claim. But anyway, if it gets you interested in joining or, listening, then I guess it's justified that I played it a little bit.